Welcome to the Learning Lab Player Edition. This is the space where you can ask questions about the National Mah Jongg League game, and you can ask questions about the rules, skills, sportsmanship, strategy, and etiquette. So if you have any questions during this episode, please feel free to use the live stream chat. I want to give a shout out to our moderators. Thank you very much for helping monitor the chat. If I miss any questions, please let me know. And also, I just want to say thank you for watching my videos. I appreciate you being here with me. Today, we're going to talk about recovery missions. That's the topic for today. So I'm going to demonstrate what to do if you make a mistake at the game. We're going to play at I Love Maj, and we're going to force some mistakes and then demonstrate the recovery mission. I hope you have fun with it, and I hope that you try this out yourself. Hello, Ginger, the Rose, Kathy, welcome. How long have you been playing? We do have a new channel member. I just want to say thank you to EJ and all of our channel members. I want to show you also how you can get to past episodes of the Learning Lab Player Edition. So I'm going to quickly share my screen. Here's my website. Yeah, we'll just go up here. All right, so here's my website. If you click on Players, there's a page just for you. I'll click on it so you can see what's here. You can connect with an instructor, from the MAHJLIFE Instructor Guild. You can refine your style by watching nitty-gritty Let's Play live streams that happen on Mondays. Let me just show that to you in another tab. If you click on that, this is what you'll see. This is a recurring list of skills and strategies that we go through. And the next episode will be marked so you can see what we worked on. So yesterday we worked on this topic, recovery, and there's a presentation that you can watch if you go back to that. The next edition is going to be on sacrificing tiles and how to recover there as well. So every one of these skills and strategies can improve your game. So I invite you to watch these videos, and if there is a link for read under article, you can read any supporting wiki articles for that topic. So I invite you to do that. Then also you can lean into learning by joining the Learning Lab, which is what I wanted to show you today. So if you click on that third link, it'll take you to this page, the Learning Lab. And this tells you everything about this program. The idea came from a post that I got from somebody who was afraid to comment in social media because they thought they were going to get some backlash for asking a dumb question. There are no dumb questions ever, because everybody started not knowing anything about the game. We all started in the same place. And so we want to have that assurance that new players will have a space where they can ask any questions, even if it's been asked before. So on Facebook, I created a private group called the Learning Lab, the Learning Lab #MAHJLIFE. If you click this button right here, let me see, down here at the bottom, players, join the Learning Lab, that will take you to Facebook. So if you click on that, you'll go to the Facebook Learning Lab, and this is where you can ask questions, and only vetted instructors will answer your questions. You got to join though, and there are going to be some questions that are going to be asked. So you need to answer those questions, and you'll be added to the group, and you can ask questions, and only vetted instructors will be answering the rules questions. Everybody opines on skills and strategies. So that is how you join the Learning Lab. And then to this platform, YouTube. This is the YouTube option because not everybody uses social media. So if you do not use Facebook, join us here on Tuesdays from 1 to 2, and this is the option for you. So if you want to watch previous episodes, click Player Edition Content. And from here, you'll be able to watch the reposts. I'll click on that in a minute. You can join this live stream, and then you can also go back to the Learning Lab. So if you click Watch the Reposts, it will take you to my YouTube channel. And it will show you the playlist of all the previous Player Edition videos in chronological order. So let's see, why is it prompting me to do something there? I don't know what's happening there. But anyway, you can see all the different videos that we've done. And there's going to be a date stamp. What is happening here? Okay, so I don't know if you can see this, but this prompt is in the way and I can't get rid of it. But if you can see here on this title, you have National Mahjong League Learning Lab Player Edition, and then we have a date stamp, 2025-10-21. That's the date. So this was on the 21st. And then you're going to see the topic thereafter. So you can even use the search feature by keywords to try to find videos. So you can see we did one on pivoting. We did one on playing a concealed hand. We've done a video on trends during the Charleston. So you can see how to navigate this playlist just by coming here, and then use search across the channel and you'll be able to find videos. So hello, Wes, welcome. All right, so that is how you navigate the Learning Lab Player Edition content. Does anybody have any questions about the Learning Lab and its purpose and how to get to the information? Because we want you to play more confidently. If you play more confidently, everybody will have more fun, including you. So I'll just wait a minute and then I'll wait and see if anybody has any questions. Okay, so the Rose says, you're afraid to play in a live game. Okay, that's normal. You're normal. I can tell you that. You're having trouble deciding what hand to play. Okay, perfect. We'll focus on that and I'll give you some tips on how to do that. Jody says you're new to this. Okay, welcome. Welcome to the game. So let me, let's see, new to the Learning Lab. Okay, Learning Lab, this is the Player Edition. So it's designed for beginners or people new to the game, intermediate players, beginners and intermediate players. It's also a great place for instructors because I do a lot of coaching and demonstrations of skills and strategies, and we do talk about the rules so instructors can learn here as well. We do have a special edition on Thursdays for instructors though. So the Learning Lab is a complimentary live streams, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So you can, if you're an instructor, come back on Thursday. Okay, so let's see. We're going to, with the Rose, she said that she's having trouble deciding what hand to play. We can definitely focus on that. I like to share about hand development, and I give my top 3 tactics that will simplify decision making for you, guaranteed. Guaranteed. If you adopt these 3 tactics that I'm going to share with you, it will change the way you look at this game. And you'll probably have better results too. So let's go ahead and dive in at I Love Maj. This is where we play on Tuesdays. Let's see. I'm going to leave the tab up in case anybody wants to go back to how to get to this information so we can quickly go back. Okay, does anybody have anything else they want to have demonstrated today. We were going to focus on recovery. So we'll focus on the top 3 tactics for hand development. That'll be number 1. We'll do that primarily during the Charleston. And then we'll make a mistake. We'll force a mistake. And then we'll talk about how to recover. So maybe we could do that during the pick and discard phase of the game. So this will be kind of a 2-parter, basically how to pick a hand and then recovery. So let me share my screen and we'll get started since I don't see any other feedback here. Okay, here's I Love Maj. If you've not tried playing here yet, you can get 3 weeks with a trial. You can get an additional week if you use MAHJLIFE as your promo code. And if you decide to get a paid subscription, I would get a small commission, and my business appreciates that very much. I appreciate it very much. Okay, so let's look at what they have here to offer. We're not going to dig into this just yet because we're going to start with the exercise room, but we'll come back here and play with robots. You can play with robots, but you can also play with humans. You could even set up a game with your friends. So this is a wonderful place to play the game and practice. Online is the best way to practice playing the game, but also adopting. When you adopt a new skill or strategy, it's a great way to refine your playing style with those new skills and strategies. Then in the exercise room, this is where we're going to focus, particularly in the Charleston practice space. There are 5 exercises here. We're not going to look at those, but they're all wonderful. If you have the time, I would make the time to come in here and practice with every one of these exercises. We're going to focus on Charleston practice. So let's get going. We're going to play a Charleston round, and we'll focus on those top 3 tactics that I was sharing about, or that I alluded to. Okay, when you first get your tiles, you want to sort them. The best way to sort tiles, at least in the beginning, is by suit. So you want to put your flowers somewhere on your rack, right or left, just get them to the side, either way. Then put your winds and dragons together as well. Then you're going to put your numbered tiles, the suits, in order by suit. So we have a flower, northeast, singles, a green dragon. We have 1, 2, 3, 6 in BAMs with a pair of 3s. We have 3 crack pair with 7, 9, and then a 4 dot. So we have mixed suits. We have single tiles and 2 pairs. So tell me, if these were your tiles, what would you focus on? What in your, when you look at these tiles, do your eyes go to any one place? And do you think about what to focus on the card? Let me know in the live stream chat what goes through your mind with these tiles. And I'll give you a minute to do that, and then I'll share about the nuances of American Mah Jongg that will help with your decision making. There's no right or wrong. You can make almost anything work with the right decisions at the right time. Okay, so Jody says probably odds. I can see why you would say that. Double 3. So Jay Bailey says probably like numbers with 3s. You're targeting the 3s. Okay, so maybe I assumed like numbers, but you're saying that your eyes go to the pairs of 3s. Okay, that's good instinct. Very good instinct. Okay, double 3, pairs of 3s. 1, 3, news 3, 5. Debbie says uses 2 multiples. Okay, I can see why you would look at that particular option. Okay, so now the first thing that I want to share is that American Mah Jongg is Mah Jongg. Every version of Mah Jongg that uses the tiles in a 4-player game is a legitimate version of the game. I've seen some places on social media that American Mah Jongg isn't real Mahjong. Or when you play with house rules, for example, it's not real Mahjong, but that's not true. That is not true. Anytime you play with these tiles in a 4-player game or even a 3 or 2-player game, you're playing Mahjong. With American Mah Jongg specifically, the design or the game theory behind it is different than all the other versions. There are, of course, a few similarities, but not much. American Mah Jongg is on the fray, but it's still Mahjong. And it's still complex, and it requires critical thinking, situational awareness, and also social acuity. There are strategies that are in the game that if you know them and incorporate them into the way you play, you can improve your performance. So it's understanding that game theory and understanding how to execute the tactics that is going to differentiate you as a player. So with American Mah Jongg, the biggest difference is that it is a game of multiples. Multiples are pair pung kong. Every hand on the card for the given year require some combination of pair pung kong. Now there are some hands with singles, but they make up a small part of any of those given hands. So if you start with multiples in your hand, target them because you need them in the end. You want to play with the end in mind, basically. So if you have multiples, target the multiples and let that drive your decisions. So whatever we play, we're going to target the threes, the 3 bam and the 3 crack. That's what we're going to target. We don't know what category we're going to play. We don't know what hand we're going to play because that can change the minute you get a pass. All we know is we've got strength with these multiples, the 3s. So that is the first tactic. It's called optimize. Optimize hand development by targeting multiples. That's tactic number 1. And incidentally, I have a wiki article that I can put in the video description so you can study this afterwards. There are several videos that talk about this concept. So whatever we play, we're going to use the 3s. We have 2 pair. The next thing that you want to train yourself to do is not pick a hand. Don't pick a hand right away. It's very rare that you have a particular hand already built into your dealt hand. It's rare. So I don't recommend looking for a hand or picking a hand this early. What I do recommend is targeting the strength of the hand and then keep tiles that will allow you to focus on a category that will use most of your tiles. That is the second tactic. It's called maximize. So optimize is targeting multiples. Maximize is focusing on a category that will use most of your tiles. So we're going to pause here and we're going to look at the rest of our tiles and see what we can keep to focus on a category. So we've got northeast. Now there is one hand that we could play with those 2 tiles and the 3s. And that is the 3rd hand from the bottom under odds. There's a challenge there though. There's no 5s or 1s in this hand. Actually, we do have a 1. We'll keep that. Let's say we keep this. So the challenge here is there's no 5 crack. That is a gap. If we were to focus on that one hand, that would be a gap hand, which is very risky. So I would not recommend that. Instead, I would look at the rest of the tiles and figure out which category will use the pairs in most of my tiles, and then just let everything else go. So one thing we could do would be some kind of a consecutive hand. So let's just pull off the northeast and let's look at 1 through 4. Now, we're not picking a hand yet. We're just gathering for consecutive run. If we focus on the consecutive run category, we will use most of our tiles. We've got 7 tiles that can be used in that category. Actually, with the dragon, there's 8 tiles that we can use for some hand in consecutive run. So we would both optimize tactic 1 and maximize tactic 2 if we focus on consecutive run. That would leave us with 5 discards for passing. That, I think, is the strongest choice. Now, there is some potential in here for 369. Let's just look at that real quick. So for 369, what I would keep would be the 3s, the 6 bam, and the 9 crack. Now, there are no gaps. Every number is represented. So there is potential there, and there are no gaps. So that could be maybe a plan B. But you could see to the left of the dragons, we have 7 discards. 7 keepers, 7 discards. It's not as strong by 1 tile. So we could do this twice, actually, and do an exercise called chain reaction. So let's focus on consecutive run first. Then we'll focus on 369 and see which one has better results. So we're going to keep the 3s, of course, keep the 3s. We're going to optimize that first tactic. And we're not going to keep the wins. We're going to keep the flower to the left. Those are the keepers. 1, 2, 3, 4 of some kind. And that just means we're going to stay adaptive. We're not going to pick a hand. So we've got optimized by targeting multiples, maximized by keeping most of our tiles for a given category, consecutive run. And the third tactic is actually applicable here. The third tactic is called streamlining. To streamline means to focus on consecutive tiles. And the reason why it's powerful is because you can go up or down a 9 tile range of numbers. 3 suits numbered 1 to 9. Most of the tiles in the set have numbers on them, as opposed to winds and dragons. So by focusing on consecutive run, you've got a lot of flexibility. And that's why streamlining is such a powerful tactic. So our 3 tactics that if you adopt, it will transform the way you play this game. Optimize, maximize, streamline. And again, I'll give you a wiki article for this. Okay, so now let's talk about passing. You want to pass as defensively as you can with whatever tiles you're not going to keep. Okay, your discards. These are our discards, northeast, 6, 7, 9 crack. Those are all discards. And we want to pass as defensively as we can with those tiles. Okay, so Debbie's saying consecutive run, line 5, no gaps. Actually, I think there are no gaps, but you would have to sacrifice a pair. So I would not pick a hand right now. That's the challenge that I give you, is not picking a hand. We have way too many discards to pick a hand. So just don't even look at the card. You don't even need to look at the card. Just gather tiles until you have all keepers. When you have all keepers, that's when you pick a hand. But you don't need to until you have to start figuring out what to pass. Right now, we have plenty of tiles where we don't even need to look at the card. This is a way to play faster, by the way. How would 2 pair of 3s be maximized in consecutive run? There are a couple of ways that you can do that. And just because you asked, we could play, for example, the concealed hand, the second hand, and the second hand from the bottom. There are 2 hands that would use the 3s. Not picking, you just saw. Oh, I see, Debbie, thank you. So yeah, there are 2 hands that we could play, but we're not picking a hand. Because we could still maybe even switch to something else. We could switch to like numbers with threes. If we were to get a 3 dot, for example, if we get a 5 crack, we could potentially switch to odds. That's why you don't want to pick a hand. You want to stay adaptive. Don't pick a hand. Just don't even look, because we have 5 discards. We don't need to pick a hand. Just think of it this way. If you pick a hand, you are painting yourself in a corner. You don't want to do that until you have to. You want to be free. You want to color outside the lines right now. We want to just gather everything we can and see what the potentials are, where the possibilities are. We don't want to focus just on 1 or 2 things, because then we may miss something that could be stronger, that could be better, that could be more flexible. So instead of picking a hand, you want to gather for the category. So we're focused on consecutive run right now. We're not going to pick a hand because we've got lots of discards. We have 5 and more, actually. Okay, so let's pass the East, the 6, and the 9. So this way we have a wind with an even number in one suit and an odd number in a second suit. That, I think, would be a great pass. So let's see what we get here. Okay, we picked up a 4. That's in our range. If you look in the consecutive run category, there are 3 options. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 options that span 5 numbers. All the other hands span up to 4. So if you gather 4 numbers in a range, or 5, that's what you want your focus to be. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 numbers in a range. Now we picked up a multiple here, the North. Anytime you develop a new multiple, you want to reassess just to see what the possibilities are. We have North and South. There is a hand that would use North and South with odds, and 3s happen to be odds. This is the 5th hand down under Winds and Dragons. North and South with odds, single pair pung. Now, what are we missing? Who can tell me what we're missing here? And what is that called? Single. What tile? Jody says we're missing a single. What tile? What tile is missing? A 3. Which suit? Three dot. We are missing a 3 dot. What kind of a hand is that? Do you remember? I shared it a little bit ago. There's a name for this. Do you remember what the name of this kind of a hand is? No. Okay. Well, it is a dot. Yes, Kathy. Okay. So if we were to play North and South with 3s, 5th hand down under Winds and Dragons, we would be playing a gap hand. A gap hand. No, this wouldn't be a chow hand. A single pair pung those are multiples, not the single, but pair pung. So North and South with 3s, that would be, thank you, Susan's got it. It's called a gap hand. You do not want to play a gap hand. If you find yourself playing a gap hand, you want to fill that gap as soon as possible. And if it is an option, you want to put it at the bottom of the list. So I would not play that hand, because we have other options that, even though they're not strong, they're better than a gap hand. So I would not focus on the North, because we have no 3 dot. There is no 3 dot. So we don't need that North. The North and South with these other tiles are useless right now without that 3 dot. So we're going to break it up. North 7. Now, we could pass the South, but passing North-South, especially with an odd, that would be very risky. I would not do that. If you pass 2 wins, that is almost as risky as passing like numbers, the same number in different suits. And passing like numbers is almost as risky as passing a pair. Passing a pair in American Mah Jongg is a gift to your opponent. You do not want to do that. You do not want to be giving away gifts, especially if you have a weak hand. Now, if you have a really strong hand, you can give away a gift. You can be generous, but we are not in that position. Okay, we're an underdog here. We're going to have to fight to develop this hand because we don't even know what hand we're playing right now. So we cannot afford to give a gift. We cannot afford to pass risky. So we need to sacrifice a tile. So we have all keepers besides the north and south. So we're going to sacrifice a tile. We have 1, 2, 3 in bands with the corresponding dragon. That is our hand with no gaps. So that should be a focus. I would keep the dragon and I would keep the 1, 2, 3 because we could play the 5th hand down under consecutive run and there are no gaps for that hand. Now, the next idea is 1, 2 ban, 1, 2 ban, 3, 4 crack. 1, 2 ban, 3, 4 crack. Second hand down on the right. That's the other no gap hand. We have everything represented there. The only tile we didn't use in those 2 potential hands is the 4 dot. So by process of elimination, that can go. The 4 dot. That's the discard here. Yeah, that's the discard. I was just going through the process of elimination. Okay, so here we go. Good eye, Kathy. Oh my gosh, look what we got. 3s. Okay, now this changes things. We have a pung of 3s in there. We have 1 clear discard. Everything else would be keepers because we have a range of 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, with a pung of 3s, the 3 dot and the 3 crack with the dragon, now we have no gaps for the any like number hand concealed. We can pivot from consecutive run, 1, 2, 3 dragon, right here, 1, 2, 3 dragon, which we could still play. But if we go to that concealed hand, let's just show it to you so you can see how many tiles we're going to be keeping. Right here, no gaps for that hand. Now, you might think, well, why not keep the north and south in case we get the north back? You could do that. We could, let's say, give up on the 1, 2, 3, 4 hand and let the 4 go. But we still need to pass. Now here, we could pass blind, but I wouldn't recommend it. We're in between hands. We're in between 1, 2, 3 dragon. Okay, 1, 2, 3 dragon. 1, 2, 3 dragon with the flower. The 3 dot, 3 crack, those would be discards. So we're in between that, or we're in between, the other one would be like numbers with 3s. We have fewer discards with like numbers by 1. So I would focus more on like numbers personally. But one thing we could consider would be the north-south. Because we gave away that north, who knows if it will come back? And if you ever say the word if in your head, or maybe, or I hope, any of those sort of phrases, it would be a long shot. So whether or not that north comes back is a long shot. Therefore, that's what goes. Now, we could give away the south. Maybe the north will come. Doesn't really matter. That's probably going to go anyway because we have 2 strong options. We have 2 strong options where both of them could use the pung of 3s. One of those options can use the pair of 3 cracks as well. So that's why I say the like number hand is probably the stronger of the two. So when you're in between categories or in between hands, don't pass blind. Keep going and pick the strongest option. In this case, we gave up on north and south. Okay, even though the concealed hand has just a few extra tiles going for it, it is still concealed, no calling. That's correct. However, Jody, you can use jokers. There's only one pair in that hand. If you look at the option that we have, the fifth hand down under consecutive run, that hand has two pair. The concealed like number hand has only one pair. So you can use jokers for the rest of that hand. I call that a hand of slight resistance. The hand with consecutive run and the dragon, we need two pair with the 1-2, and we have only singles. That's why it's weak. It's weaker than the like number hand. Okay, so now this is what we're going to do. Here we go. Oh, look, that north came back. But without a south, that pair north is useless. So we're going to keep going. Okay, no keepers. And I would just continue to give that to somebody else. And I would do the same here. Okay. And we could pass 3. And we got a keeper, a 3. So I would totally focus on like numbers with 3s. We have 5 discards now. That's going to make us, actually we're east, so we have an extra tile. We would be a contender for this hand because once we discard the starting tile, we have only 4 discards. That makes us a contender. That was an excellent Charleston. And we ended up with like numbers. Now the 4s kind of went around. No 5s came in. And also an east came in. So north, south, east were part of that. So 4 grins. Let's do this again a little faster for 3, 6, 9. So we're going to replay. Okay, now first of all, I just want to ask how you all feel about that. Let me just go full screen here. What do you think about that result? First of all, are you surprised? How did it feel to pivot from consecutive run to like numbers? Dana says concealed hands are supposed to be more difficult. With that said, you have found the like number concealed hand and consecutive number concealed hand easy for you on this card. They're both very popular hands. Does anybody want to share how it felt when I had us pivot from consecutive run to like numbers based on the trend with 3s? We ended up with a pung. We went from 2 pair to a pung, and in the end, we ended up with 2 pair and a pung. Uneasy. Okay, it takes time, and that uneasiness will wane. It'll ebb and flow as you grow, but that discomfort is a good thing. It means you're pushing yourself. So that's a good thing. Now, you're comfortable with the change. Okay, good. Best way to play, stay flexible. That's correct. And it takes time. So you want to train. It takes training. You got to train yourself, because one way that I look at it, when the league came up with this idea of a card, it's like handing somebody a menu in a restaurant. When you get that menu, you want to pick something to eat. That's how it works. You got to order something on that menu so then you could eat. Well, when you play American Mah Jongg, you're given a menu of hands. And so there's that urgency inside, that desire to pick a hand. But you don't need to pick a hand until you have all keepers. Once you start whittling out the unwanted tiles, eventually you'll need to pick a hand, but you don't need to until that time, until you have keepers. While you have discards, chaff, things that you don't want, you can keep passing and just gather. Focus on gathering. That is one way to quicken your game. Okay, so I just want to remind you of the top 3 tactics. Okay, let's see. Loretta says, you tell yourself to get married to a hand, not fall in love. Okay. Until the Charleston is over. Yep. I mean, sometimes a hand will show itself, but it's rare. Okay, so I just want to remind you of the top 3 hand development tactics. Does anybody remember what they are? Even if you remember 1 or 2, tell me what you remember. The top 3 tactics. Does anybody remember what they are? Would anybody like to share what they are? Remember. Can you remember what the top 3 tactics are? I'm watching the live stream chat to see. Maximize. Excellent, Jody. Nice. Okay, maximize is one of them. That's when you use most of your tiles. Optimize, maximize, streamline. Jay Bailey, well done. That's it. Optimize, maximize, streamline. Optimize is excellent, Debbie. Optimize is targeting multiples. Maximize is using most of your tiles. Streamlining is focusing on consecutive run. Optimize, maximize, streamline. If you can do all 3, you have a power play and a very strong potential to optimize your hand development going into the pick and discard phase of the game. That's how these 3 tactics work. Okay. All right. So now we're going to do this again with 369. Now 369 is not as flexible because there are 2 numbers in between 3, 6, and 9. But we have every number represented here. So let's go back to 369 here, and we're going to focus on 369, and let's just see what happens. Let's give away an east, a 1, and the 4. Okay, east 1, 4. We're targeting multiples, so we are optimizing. We're doing optimize right here. There's a 3. We have a south. Let's pass 2, 7. South 2, 7. We got another 3. Okay, now we're going to pass north 7, 4. We might be able to even use that dragon. There is the 3rd hand down under 369. Okay, we're going to keep going. Now 1, 4 is a little bit risky, but that's okay. When you start gathering keepers, and again, we're not picking a hand, okay? We're just going to gather every 3, 6, 9. But when you get more keepers, which we have now, we're maximized now for 3, 6, 9. So we are now optimized and maximized. We're not going to be able to do streamline because these are not consecutive. So we're going to do 2 tactics, optimize and maximize. And your passes are going to get more and more risky. They're going to increase in risk, and that's okay. That's the nature of the beast, and that's all right. We got a 9, and we still have 3 discards. So we still don't have to pick a hand. Don't even look at that card. If you looked at the card, spank yourself. Give yourself a spank, because you do not need to look at the card until you have all keepers. We don't need to. We're going to pass. We got a keeper. Now we have 2 clear discards, and we have all keepers thereafter. So we could play something in 3, 6, 9. This is when you pick a hand, because we need another tile to pass. Now we could pass blind, but I wouldn't, because we're in between any one of these hands. If you are in between, pick your strongest option to free up discards. So here we have 3, 6, 9, and 3s. Look at the second hand from the bottom under 3, 6, 9. Second hand from the bottom under 3, 6, 9. I would either play that, or I would pivot to the concealed like number hand. If we were to play that second hand from the bottom, We don't need the 9 crack. So that's what I would discard. So we're in between the second hand from the bottom under 369 or like numbers with 3s concealed. And we have a nice full pass.
Curtis.
And we got a keeper, a 6. 3-6 crack. It's not very helpful though. I think we're stronger with what we had before. I would not dilute the strength by keeping that. Instead, I would pass 3. And I would even risk the north-south because we have 2 strong hands. 2 strong hands with no gaps. That's when you make a risky pass. We didn't get any keepers, but we have, if we were to play like numbers with 3s, again, we're the dealer, we have an extra discard, we would be a contender. We have the same result as before. If we play 3-6-9, we have the same result because we don't need a pung of 3s in the BAMs. We need pair, 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 Kong, Kong. We would have 6 discards. So that tells me that the strongest option is like numbers concealed. That's the strongest option. So I would say that we are a contender if we play like numbers with 3s concealed, and I would discard the north. Okay, so now tell me what you think about this result and focusing on 3-6-9. Are you surprised? No surprises, I guess. Okay. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this focus on the top 3 hand development tactics, optimize, maximize, streamline. I'll put a link in the video description below, and that you try out I Love Maj in the exercise room and do that Charleston chain reaction. I'll put a link to how to set that up as well. And basically you just play with the same tiles and do a replay and then focus on different categories and compare your results. Okay, let's see. Surprised, it came to about the same hand with both examples. Yep. Duchess says, I think both options worked because you focused on the 3s. Yes. Focusing on the pairs came out with the same result. Interesting. Yep. And that is the power of American Mah Jongg. That is the beauty of American Mah Jongg. Okay, so now we're going to play with robots. We're going to go a little bit long today. Feel free to hang out with me. We're going to play with robots now, and maybe we'll be able to get in 2 games. Now, they have different skill levels of robots here, standard, intermediate, and advanced. I like to play with the advanced robots because I feel that they make the most human decisions, or the most common decisions. They play defensively. The standard bot are beginners, so they make a lot of mistakes, and they don't pass safely. So I think there's a lot of luck for the human when you play with standard, so I don't recommend it. But the intermediate level would be a good choice. However, the robots there typically will discard really risky in the end game, and they also take risky commitments early. So I typically don't play there either. I recommend the advanced robots, but you pick and choose and see what you like. We're going to play with advanced here. And then we're going to say no to invitations, and we're going to start the game. So now this will be interesting. Can anybody tell me why this will be interesting? For any of my regular viewers, can anybody share what this is called? This particular deal. What is this particular deal called? There's a name for this deal, and it's a challenge. We've been challenged, and I accept. A big range of numbers. Okay, Duchess, awesome, good job. Widespread. This is called a widespread. It's a mess? No, it's not a mess. We've got lots of things we could do. This is called a widespread. We are spread super thin, but we're going to tighten it up. Okay, yep, widespread. Okay, now here's what you do. When you have a widespread in your head, you identify the like numbers. So we have 2 1s, 2 2s, 2 7s, and 2 9s. 2 1s, 2 2s, 2 7s, and 2 9s. That tells us what the predominant pattern is going to be with the other tiles. I say, tell me, actually, you tell me what is the predominant pattern here based on the like numbers. Can anybody tell me? Tell me what the predominant pattern is based on the like numbers. What would optimize this hand? Okay, Loretta says odds. Jody says odds. You could focus on odds, but that is not the predominant pattern because we're missing something. What is missing? Beverly says consecutive. That is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the predominant pattern. And there's a reason. For odds, what is missing? Loretta got it. 5s. There are no 5s. And for 7, 9, no 5s and no 8s. If we had an 8, we would be in between 7, 8, 9 or 6, 7, 8, 9. But right now, we have mostly 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is the predominant pattern. So we're going to let these go. I think it would be better to do that. 6, 9, 7. I would keep this dragon. Okay, here we go. All right, we got a 3 and a 5. Look at that. Now we could play odds. And look, we kept the 7, 9. We have 1 clear discard. So now, guess what? We're in between. We are in between odds, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, or little odds, 1, 3, 3, 5, or we could do 1, 2, 3, 4. Which do you think is the predominant pattern? Odds or consecutive run? Which would you do? We could do 1 through 5, or we could do 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Tell me what your thoughts are here. Which would you do? Consecutive run or odds? I already know what I would do. And I did allude to it earlier in the session. Beverly, odds? No. Remember the 3 tactics? Optimize, maximize, streamline, consecutive run. That is one of the 3 tactics. Streamline. If you are in between, and one of the categories you can focus on is consecutive run, go for consecutive run because you can streamline. That is a powerful tactic. We can optimize and streamline by playing consecutive run. If we played odds, we would be maximized. One tactic. By playing consecutive run, we're maximized and we're streamlined. That's 2. If we get a multiple, we'll have all 3. Optimize, maximize, streamline, power play. That is how American Mah Jongg works. That is the nuance of the American Mah Jongg game. And if you add those 3 tactics to your playing style, you're unstoppable. Trust me, I guarantee it. I guarantee these tactics. Now, it doesn't guarantee a win. It will guarantee better performance overall. So I would pass 7, 9. Now that right here, sometimes it's boring. Okay, Loretta, that is interesting that you say that. It's very interesting that you say that, because it's all about mindset. What is your why? Why do you play the game? My why, I have several reasons why I like to play this game. It keeps my mind active. And every hand is a new journey. Every hand has something a little surprising that happens along the way. So it keeps me on the edge of my seat, even if I play consecutive run every time. It doesn't matter to me, because it's still a journey of surprises. So it's all about your mindset and your why. If you play, if your why is to focus on playing all over the card, and that is a goal of yours, then sure, try not to play consecutive run and don't worry about streamlining. But if your why is to get the most out of the game and enjoy every journey based on the tiles you get, you should play consecutive run if you get those tiles, and let that drive you. So it's really about mindset. I don't think consecutive run is boring at all. It's very challenging, depending on what happens at the table. Not only that, but some people get bored of the entire card around this time of year. And again, that's all about mindset. If you think of every hand as a new journey, that should keep you excited. So if you ever find that you're getting bored with the game, do a mindset check and revisit your why. Okay, so I am going to go back here. And the reason I can say all that is because I've been there, done that. I've been bored with the game before, and I've come to learn how to change my mindset about it. So I feel confident in sharing that just as my own experience. A friend of yours plays a variety of hands when she's home playing American Mah Jongg. Yeah. You can say it's guaranteed me less frustration. Yes. You try to get all the hands on the card. So do you do the dot challenge? That's a wonderful challenge. Okay, so now here, I would not do this, by the way. I would bring that back and I would give up on the dragon to mitigate the risk here. Okay, now look, we have a pair. So I would reassess because we got a pair. We have 2 clear discards. That's something to consider. You're welcome, Loretta. That is not an admonishment at all. That's just a little mentoring there. So don't feel admonished in any way. Okay, so now we picked up a multiple. Anytime you pick up a multiple, you should reassess. So we have a pair 9 in here. So I would reassess. I would keep it, and instead I would let go of maybe the 1, 2, 3, maybe the 2. Let go of the 2 here, because we could still maybe do little odds 1, 3, 5, but we could also maybe do 1 through 5 and then let go of the 9. So let's see what happens if that 7 dot comes back, but it will be a long shot. Okay, we did get a 6 and we did pick up a 1. So we have 1 clear discard. I'd say the 6 can go, actually, although we have some 3, 6, 9 in here. 3, 6, 9 with 3. I think it's pretty weak, though. And I would probably let that go, too. I would continue to pass these 3. 1, 3, 5, 1 through 5, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. There's the 7. The 7 came back, but look, so did a 2. We have now 2 clear discards. Train your eye and your mind to look for clear discards. These are clear discards, and it's a little bit risky, but it tells us that we only need to come up with 1 sacrifice, 1 tile. I would say, you might think, what about the flower? We could pass the flower. It would be very risky. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Here's the 2, 4. The flower is not part of our hand either way. 3, 5, 9, 2, 3, 4. We could do 2, 3, 4 in 1 suit. 2, 3, 4 in 1 suit. We'd have to throw away a pair. 5 discards. I think we're closer to this hand. We have 2 multiples in there. I'd let go of the 4 instead of the flower. If we play 1 through 5, we could maybe pick up the 4 later. We could even do 1, 2, 3 flower if we want to. All right, so here we go. You feel like you're not a good player when you're always in the section's least resistance. You tell yourself good players are in singles and pairs. Okay, that's interesting, Dana. So here's the thing, though. Let me share a quote with you. Comparison is the thief of joy. Play the tiles you get. Play the tiles you get and enjoy the journey. I learned that the hard way. Okay, so here we go. We got a keeper. 2 clear discards. I would not pass the flower. We have 1, 2, 3, 5, or 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. I think I would play 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 and pass the 2. Okay, no keepers. I think I would, pass 2, 4. Okay, we are a contender. So I would discard the riskiest tile, flower. We have 4 discards, so we are a contender. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. We have our pairs. We could pung 3, pung 7. We need the 5s, and we can use jokers. We don't need the dragon. That's a pair for us. Oh, you're welcome, Jody. Okay, there's a 5-band pair. We're just going to keep that for a minute. We got a keeper. We are now a front runner. We're at 76 tiles. We just entered the middle game. We have 3 discards. We're not quite set. We need one more good pick. Oh, that's our pair. Okay, nobody wanted it, so we can let it go. We did pick up an 8 dot, but we don't need it. It looks pretty, but it's not a keeper. Joker. We are set. We could pung 3, con 5, pung 7. There's another pair we don't need. I'm surprised our other tiles haven't come in. Wow. Joker. Oh, put that over here. Oh, look, Joker exchange. Okay, we're red Mah Jongg. We just got Mah Jongg. There it is. Odds. We got in a win. Okay, we went a little bit long today, but it was jam-packed with some good stuff, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned a lot, and I hope that you will take the top 3 hand development tactics with you and incorporate them in the way you play. Optimize, maximize, and streamline. Remember to look in the video description in just a little while, maybe a half an hour or so, and maybe an hour, and there'll be a couple of links in there so that you can review what we talked about, these hand development tactics, And then also I did mention underdog, contender, front runner. Those are also some really great concepts that help you with your approach with the game as far as how much risk you can take. And that's a little bit more advanced. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. We'll be back again next week, same time, for another topic that can help you with your game. Refine your playing style, play more confidently, and everybody will have more fun. Thank you again, moderators, for helping monitor the chat. Please share about MAHJLIFE with your friends. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Click that little gray bell if you do. That way you'll get notification for when I post new videos, and you won't miss an opportunity to learn a new strategy or pick up an insight to the game that could give you an advantage at the table. Between now and the next video, may all your picks be keepers.